Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today distinguished guests are Ken Regan. Professor Regan, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me on again.
Okay, then we have Dan. Welcome to the show. Dan Fleetwood, Professor, welcome to the show. Sorry for not making it right for the first time.
It's always good to be here. Thank you, Sasha.
It's my pleasure always. And finally, Jim Eat from Eat Foundation. Welcome, Jim, to the show.
Thank you, Sasha. It's great to be here.
Glad to have you. And as I said before we started, there are so many tournaments in the world, so many games, starting from Carlsen and going to some 6 years old schoolboys and girls and just whatever. It's going on and on and
Yes.
on. And Ken, what do you think is so interesting that you would like to show us?
Well, I'm actually going to show you things historical because it is right now the Paris Olympics 2024, and that's the 100th anniversary of the Olympics in Paris 1924, which was also the site of the foundation of FIDE
Yes.
100 years ago.
Yeah.
But if we don't want to go there right away, I'll mention that the most intriguing thing right now is the prospect of the chess.com speed championship reaching a stage where we may have a match between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann in the offing. So I don't know if you want to talk about that. It's the most intriguing thing for the moment. But
Absolutely.
for the moment, yep.
Yeah, that's intriguing to me. There's Niemann versus the world. Like the status of Niemann Carlsen is, Carlsen wouldn't play him the last time, and is he going to play him now? And I'm intrigued by what I'm seeing is this phenomenon of multifaceted matches where it's blitz and rapid and classical chess, and how that seems to be taking over. So
Represented by the Beale Festival, for one thing.
Yeah, and it's just fascinating to me what's going on in the chess world and how it's going to play out.
I'm surprised that classical chess still held its own and quite successfully against rapid and blitz and many other forms. It's phenomenal because when you are watching chess in your living room, and with good commentaries, the classical games make a lot of sense. Yes, it goes on for hours. You can always watch it replay in a faster speed, and but the commentaries sometimes are just as good as the game itself. You learn a lot of new things, and
That's very
when
true.
you see the blitz games, and then okay, in 3 minutes it's all over. There are a lot of mistakes and oversights and so on. And I'm wondering, okay, maybe it's very enjoyable for players, but for us who are watching the games, I don't see a lot of merits. Repeat is okay, it's kind of in between and so on, but the classical game still holds its own. I'm really, really happy about it.
Well, I got started, as many people did, my age, my generation, watching the Fischer matches at Shelby Lyman's television show, where the moves were transmitted by teletype, and then he had grandmasters like Edmund Mednis and things talking about the moves. It was so educational to me. I was, about 15 at the time that Fischer won the match, and so I was just coming up as a chess player, and I learned so much from their analysis. So your point is very well taken, Sasha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and now we can access those kind of shows on the internet all the time. In
All the
fact,
time now.
Speed Chess broadcast has just started for today's play. So
Mhm.
the chess.com Speed Chess Championship.
So what is the set us up in the chess championship? What's going on now? Who's playing who?
Let's see. Actually, that's a good point. Let me just go right there. Magnus Carlsen versus Arjun Erigaisi right now. And the winner faces Hans in Paris. So this is, by the way, something that is being co-located in the Olympiad. even though chess was unsuccessful in its bid 5 years ago to be part of the official slate for the Paris Olympiad, there are chess cultural events happening. So yeah, let me share my screen again. And so I have some things about that. Okay, here we go, share. And so let's see. Right, so this is on the official Paris Olympics blog. There's a cultural event of chess in one of various houses that people can visit. The house is all named after past Olympic Games. So there's chess happening there, and there's also. Let's see, and there is this is a chess tournament also is apparently being held there. I haven't been able to find a. Oh, this is last year. That's right. But it was on the official blog of the Olympic Games. Anyway, here's the Speed Chess Championship right now. I've got it paused. I guess I can play it briefly. There's Danny Wrench, the head of chess.com. And this is a series of blitz games being played. So you can follow this right now. And as said, if Carlsen wins this, then he plays Hans Niemann in the semis.
I can bet that he will lose this match to Erigaisi to avoid dilemma of playing Niemann, because
I would not be surprised.
First of all, he can lose just by chess game, especially Carlsen lately. Although Kasparov admitted that he is the greatest chess player of all times, his IQ is second only to Einstein. And all that nice stories, but Niemann can actually take over because Carlsen today is less consistent as it was as previously.
Yeah.
And he has great chances to lose. So I think he will struggle today against Erigaisi and eventually will lose.
Yeah.
If I could make bets, that's what I would definitely bet on.
Do you think it's hard for Carlsen to stay sharp because, like, what mountain hasn't he climbed? It's sort of like, what is it that's going to motivate him? Like winning the world championship, you're totally motivated.
Evaluation. He's a master of his own devaluation of his own chess talent by playing this endless tournament games under all kind of controls, and I just don't see it.
Yeah.
As it's not very clever exploitation of his talents.
He is the most protean player. Able to change shape, and he has been. I mean, he was medal in the recent WR team championship. His team won. Of course, you had Carlsen and Nepomniachtchi on the same team, and a lot of other players as well. This was a rapid and blitz series of matches played last weekend in Astana, Kazakhstan.
Yes.
So, in fact, I probably should have prepared some game from that. But at any rate, yeah, lots of intrigue happening right now. And of course, the one other bit of news since the last time we met is that the World Championship match between Ding and Gukesh has been set for Singapore toward the end of this year. So a neutral site in some ways.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? I think it's wonderful.
Singapore is a terrific location.
Yeah.
Singapore is second to none. I'm just wondering if it's often happened lately that the two contenders for the World Championship match, they're not necessarily two strongest chess players in the world, at least at the beginning of the match. I think there will be quite a few players who have much better ratings than these two. But we'll see. Let's see.
Yeah.
This reminds me.
One thing we've seen at the Olympics is that the top ranked runner or champion in another sport hasn't always won the medal. So it's
Right.
who comes out in the day and in the play that matters. So
Who's better that day?
yeah. Now chess has its own Olympiad happening in September in Budapest.
Right.
And that is almost as hallowed a choice because Paris in 1924 is called the unofficial chess Olympiad. It wasn't really national teams. It was a tournament between players who had gathered to create the founding of FIDE. Among these players, by the way, was the famous artist Marcel Duchamp, who was a chess fan. Max Euwe was there, and also the first president of FIDE, Alexander Rube of the Netherlands. Okay, so the first official chess Olympiad that was organized as such, with invitations really sent to everyone, was in 1926 in Budapest. Now, is the tab switching working like you're seeing my FIDE page for Budapest 2024?
No, we're seeing a welcome page.
Yeah, welcome page. That's it. Yep.
Okay.
So here's a note about Marcel Duchamp, the artist, and he actually gave up art in the 1920s to pursue chess. And I measured him. So I wrote an article on him and his art, and then how his art has influenced things today, including this portrait of Obama echoing a photo of an artistic photo of George Koltanowski giving a simultaneous exhibition at the Julian Levy Gallery in Manhattan in the 1940s. But here we go. This is Duchamp's chess record when he tried to be a professional chess play. And I gave his intrinsic rating not quite 2,200. So I don't think it's quite right to say that he was a master by today's standards, but certainly over 2,000. One of his notable games was against the person Alexander Rube, who served as FIDE president from 1924 until 1949, when Folk Rogard took over for 10 years. There have been only 7 FIDE presidents, and I have the let me get rid of some of these tabs so I'm not I have the list of FIDE presidents, or thought I did. Okay, Alexander Rube, FIDE presidents. Here, this is the page. So these are there are only 7 FIDE presidents: Dvorkovich, Kyrgyzstan, Campomanes. You're already back more than 40 years. Grandmaster Frederick Olofsson, Max Euwe was FIDE president when I was playing. Folk Rogard and Alexander Rube. So here is a game from the 1924 Paris unofficial Olympiad between Duchamp, Rube White, and Duchamp Black, where Duchamp missed a chance for what would have been a notable brilliancy. Okay, so a fairly eclectic opening.
Yeah,
Black
reverse Philidor.
Yeah, reverse Philidor. Black is already doing well, and Black now I think is already doing very well, but decides to. I don't know why Black played Bishop E7. I guess because White was threatening to play Knight E4. So, okay, so Black is developing. Well, it's slow, but it's going to be effective. I don't know what White makes a couple of threats, but does not really achieve anything. And now Black is finally able to start playing strategically in this position, which is to work in the center where Black has a superiority, and then take the theater of the game over to the queen side. And this is exploiting how White has left the queen side unguarded, with White's queen far afield on H4. So Duchamp, has not yet won a pawn, but Duchamp is going to be able to invade White's position. So now Black has in fact won a pawn. So now this is where the game starts becoming very tactical. Okay, so the attack against white's rook nullifies that, and white really sticks his head in the lion's jaw at this point. So putting the bishops where they are prone to be attackable. Okay, so now so let's see. So rook c3, and so it's right here is the first time that Duchamp misses his chance for a brilliancy. Black can take this bishop on b6, so black can play rook takes b6, and so.
Why? I'm not clear.
Oh, I'm not clear. Actually, wait a second. I've got this. No, wait. Where have I?
Doesn't look like he can take it to me.
Oh yeah, let's see. So he can take this. Let's see. Wait, have I forgotten my analysis of this game? Rook c3. Okay, let's see. Okay, black plays queen a6. White captured. Okay, that was the prosaic one. Wait a second. I've completely forgotten what's going on here.
So why not to take on b6?
Yeah, wait a second. Maybe it was here. Let's see now.
The queen is guarding the rook on d1, so
Yeah,
If you will continue, rook takes b6
Rook
and
takes
take,
b6.
and then check. You cover on d1, and then another rook is still coming. Take on
Yeah.
b6.
let's see. Let me see.
Yeah, let me see. What's the
Take
what's the deal
b6.
here?
Oh, I know what you're saying now. Rook b6, rook takes. What do you say now?
Yeah.
Queen takes d1?
You check queen
Wow.
d1, and another rook comes on b1, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
No, wait a minute.
I wonder.
I'm not following.
I stand embarrassed here because this is the same. Is this the same tab I had open? Unless maybe there's been a correction to the game score, because it was definitely in a position where white's rook was still on c1 and rook takes b6 was possible. Let's see. Okay, well the game continued this way, so let's just see the.
Ouch.
Okay, so that's a nice move.
Right.
Okay, and now black is just able to win with the extra exchange
Right,
and a pawn.
right.
So
Yeah,
Duchamp won
easy.
this game. But this is oh dear. Let's see, rook c1. It was definitely after white's bishops came here. Queen takes c3, queen takes d3, bishop takes 6, rook eb8 was fine. Bishop b6. And okay, well, I might stand corrected here. Let's see. All right, let me just see. Wait, Duchamp. Let's see. Duchamp misfired brilliancy in Chess Life, July 2024, page 11. So let's see. Okay. All right. So let's see. Skip. Okay. So now, let's see. Where did I? Possible pickleball chess, maybe not. Listen now. Page 11 is supposed to be here.
That's, yeah, right.
Let's see now. Duchamp's. Let's see. Is it one of these? Here it is. So this is problem 3. Alexander Rube, Marcel Duchamp in the current Chess Life. Let me enlarge it a bit if I can. I guess I can't. It's up here in the upper right-hand corner. So let's see. So this is a
Slightly different position.
Yeah, black to move. Yeah, it is a different position. Black's queen is not under attack.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's funny. I'm maybe Marcel Duchamp is messing with my brain here. Oh yeah. So queen takes b1. So that is the brilliance.
Queen takes b1. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now let me make sure.
Well,
see, I just
and then rook takes
b6. That's right. So maybe I am bishop b6. Okay. Rook eb8, bishop b6. Oh yes, this is it. I'm sorry. It is here instead of rook a3. The missed brilliancy was queen takes b1. That's right. I'm sorry, I misreviewed this. And then rook takes b6 is
because you can't guard the bishop on c6 too. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yep. So it looks like I would have missed it during the game too. So yeah, yeah. So rook takes b8. So queen takes.
Yeah, I've looked at kind of like everything else, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, he has
So
that.
queen takes b3, queen g4, and and actually Duchamp had it as an option in this position as well. So queen takes b1 also works in this position, and then rook takes b6.
Same problem.
Yes, that's it. So sorry about that. I blipped on my memory of when the rook takes b6 move was on.
You're totally forgetting.
Queen c8. Would queen c8 defend bishop?
Oh, defends the rook, the bishop on c6, huh?
Right, and then you take rook out. Let's see, on d1 maybe.
And move the rook. Okay.
And move the rook. Let's see. So is this
then rook c? Yeah, probably rook to c1.
Maybe
Although you can still play rook to c3.
Yeah, you can still play rook to c3. So maybe white doesn't play the rook to that square. Maybe white puts the rook here.
But then rook c3 again.
Rook c3 again. Yes, still is cleaning up. Yeah, that's true. Yes, that would in fact be very nice. Yeah. So might need further analysis. So
But it looks. We'll just go with it's brilliant, and I'm just brilliancy.
Yep, that's
Make
right.
the rest of us feel better.
Yeah.
We're not the only ones that miss them.
Yep. So it's mentioned in the current chess life anyway. So
interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you got him just below 2,200. That's 2,200 FIDE though.
Right. On the current FIDE scale. I must say that the FIDE scale has shifted. Quality was a little different in the 1980s. So I'm at present doing an major upgrade to my chess model that may resolve some of this. I was originally researching the question of women's ratings 40 years ago and now, because November 1986 was the controversial vote to award every woman in the world 100 rating points except for Susan Polgar. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I find women strongly deflated, more clearly so than men right now, with chess ratings. And I believe that is in fact an outcome or an aftermath of the COVID pandemic, because what happened is that rapidly improving young players had their ratings frozen so that they were 400 or 500 points underrated. And if you, an older established player, sit down and face a youngster who's 500 points underrated, you lose about 5 rating points compared to what it should have been, whether the game is win, lose, or draw. And play enough youngsters, those things add up. That's not so much true with the women. What I find with the women instead is that they've largely been playing each other, but still their ratings are notably adrift. The Candidates Women and the Cairns Cup brought this out. On the first, I was screening the Cairns Cup, and on the first day of the Cairns Cup, I said my ROI measure is going to be closer to 55 and 50 because the women are underrated, and that proved out. Next week is the first 2024 tournament in the Women's Grand Prix Series, which has a lot of new faces.
And the Cairns Cup is in St. Louis.
In St. Louis, yes.
Yeah, and it's a major tournament for women. And St. Louis has become the mecca of chess in general, and has featured many great tournaments. And Jeannie Seinfeld is started the Cairns Cup. I think her maiden name was Cairns, if I understand correctly. So she's doing this for women, and we're seeing some. I think we've talked about this, more decisive play. Too many draws in the men's game and more decisive games in the women's. But I don't know if that's statistically true, Ken. I would bow to you.
Well, that is actually, that is something that my model has been crafted to work, that the women's games might be innately more challenging. The problem is that my measure of challenge created itself has been perennially under a cloud. And if you don't mind my advertising something, let me just share my screen again. So I've given a few talks on the current developments of my model, and I will have the pleasure of visiting St. Louis for the first time in October, because I have been invited to speak at the St. Louis Chess Conference, October 24 to 27. And,
Excellent.
You'll enjoy yourself too.
Yeah.
yes, so I'll be presenting. So I've given talks at Northwestern and at remotely to an AI conference in India. I was supposed to have my hip replacement surgery in June, which is why I was set up to speak remotely at this conference. I don't know if I could have visited anyway, as it was fairly painful. But so this is a talk. You can find it on my talks page on the methodological issues with my measure of how much challenge is in a position, where the challenge is metered in terms of the likelihood of the opponent making a mistake. For instance, Vladimir Kramnik falling into this deep trap that Anand set in the 2008 World Championship match, and how the computer values of moves track that. So that's how my model deals with difficulty, and I contrast it to difficulty with multiple choice exams. So item response theory is the classical measure of difficulty. But when you look at human behavior, the notions of difficulty don't line up. One, here's an interesting position from Niemann Shankland in last year's USA Championship, where my model measure of difficulty says that this is an easy position to play because white has 14 reasonable moves that all give the same evaluation. But in real chess terms, this is difficult to play because white is under pressure. And the black is going to be able to force a crisis, and it's hard to judge how to set up white's less scope pieces to deal with the crisis when it comes. And in fact, Niemann panicked in the game and lost. So there's another case where my measure difficulty is off base. But real thing is a human player is in difficulty when the player is taking a long time to think. And what I've done in the past 3 months is add thinking time as a factor in my model. I had hesitated to do this because in real cheating cases, for instance, I don't always have that information. So I don't want to model information that I'm not going to have in a real case. But now that I've done so, what I find is that if you take positions where the players have made their moves quickly, their performance on that positions are really good. But if you take positions where the human players have thought for more than 10 minutes, okay, then their intrinsic ratings on those performance of those positions goes down by 800 ELO. So it looks like thinking is bad for you, but what it really is that the fact of taking a long time to think is a sign of being unsure, uncertain, and in difficulty to begin with.
And Ken, doesn't it make sense that if you have 14 alternatives roughly equal, that would be time consuming to sort that out?
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you have one move that's clearly better than the others, it doesn't take you long to choose it.
Yeah. So the divergence here is this technically is one of those silly exam questions like on NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me, when all the answers are correct. But so this is zero difficulty the way that exams are graded for correctness, especially when there's partial credit or multiple right answers.
Another way to look at that is that basically white has very few options to improve the position.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Right.
And you would keep searching for a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
So
I don't really like those positions.
Yeah. There are other technical issues with my model. It doesn't treat entropy correctly. So I'm trying to patch it first and then come out with a more authoritative version.
Well, that's a really tough problem to get your hands on. I tip my hat to you for even trying. That's
yeah,
really
yeah,
impressive.
it's tricky, and it is reproducing results obtained in other domains. For instance, blitz chess, and this is over the board chess. The blitz chess actually is Ashton Anderson and John Kleinberg and other players. I think I have.
So, Ken, are you
elsewhere
trying
on
to
these.
approach this mostly heuristically, or are you using like deep learning techniques, or what are you using?
Well, my model is actually simple predictive. It's based
Okay.
on a utility function.
Okay,
So it's severely underfitted rather than overfitted.
Yep. Got it. Because
So,
it seems like that would be an ideal case to, like, train a neural net on.
yeah. So
that.
students in my seminar are in the
Yeah,
process of doing that.
I mean, that's an obvious thing for students to try to do now.
Right.
So, yeah.
But I
Still not
preserve-
easy, but
Right.
Yeah, I preserve one thing. My chess model uses only those numbers that you saw in the tables and the Kramnik-Anand trap. Otherwise, it knows nothing about chess. It
Right.
is completely pure and even brutalist in that sense, brutally minimal. And so whereas a neural net is trying to visualize facts about chess, including, what's the status of the fact that good retreating moves are harder to find.
a neural net tries to discover that.
Yeah, it tries to. Whether it does in a neutral, unbiased manner is another matter.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, that's the old maxim that the hardest thing to see is long diagonal retreats.
Mm-hmm.
And I find myself giving up pieces to those in speed chess periodically.
That's so reassuring.
Because I know the rule, I tend to look for those.
Yes.
And then I miss something else.
And somebody noted, was it Bronstein, that Ewe, who was very tall man, he loved to do very long moves on the chessboard. And a lot of his opponents, including famous grandmasters like Geller, for example, they would overlook these long moves by Ewe.
Mm.
Yeah, it also sometimes helps you solve problems. For example, Sam Lloyd's propensity for having the key being a queen to the most distant place on the board. So,
yeah, looks very attractive though. To see this position with very long moves by queen or by any other pieces. Well, I think we will conclude our program for today. Thank you so much for participation.
Very interesting.
I think we will have even more material for next week's show. See you same place, same time. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Good to see you both.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.